Hello! If You Were at the First Thanksgiving by Anne Kamma, illustrated by Bert Dodson. What was the first thing the Pilgrims did to get ready for their harvest festival? The Pilgrims knew they would need lots of food, so the new governor, William Bradford, sent out 4 men to shoot ducks and geese and other wild fowl. Because it was fall, there were hundreds of migrating birds wintering over Plymouth Bay. It took the men just one day to bring back enough food to feed the whole village for almost a week. Who were the surprise guests? Chief Massasoit came, and he brought along 90 of his men. The Pilgrims were worried. How were they going to feed all their new guests? But Chief Massasoit solved the problem. He sent some of his men out hunting. They brought back 5 deer. Now there was plenty of food for everyone. Who is in charge of cooking? 4 women supervised all the cooking for about 150 people. There were very few women in Plymouth at this time. 18 had come over on the Mayflower, but most had died in the terrible first winter. The 4 cooks had help from the few servants who had been brought by Pilgrim families, and the children helped too. Was the food cooked outdoors? No. Although many pictures show the Pilgrims working over big outdoor fires, actually most of the food was cooked in people's houses, the English way. Each house had a huge fireplace with pots and pans hanging down over the open fire. You could cook just about anything there: meats, fish, stews, soups, and desserts. To roast the meat, you first had to cut it into pieces. The Pilgrims never roasted a deer whole. They speared the pieces of meat on long iron rods called spits. The spit handles were turned slowly so that the meat cooked on all sides. Turning the spit was usually a job for a child. It took so many hours for the meat to cook, you'd get really hot and tired, and it was dark and smoky inside the house. If you were lucky, you might get to help with the bread baking instead. Bread was baked outdoors in a big clay oven. You'd be outside in the fresh air where you could watch everyone rushing to get ready for the big feast. How did the children help? They carried water from the spring, brought vegetables in from the garden, tended the fires, stirred the stews, cut up the squash and pumpkins, ground the spices, sliced the eels, and much more. Would you have taken a bath to get ready for the big celebration? No, the Pilgrims hated baths. They thought that too many baths washed away the body's protection against disease. Scientists in 1621 didn't know what we know today, that dirt has germs in it that can make you sick. The Pilgrims took only a few baths a year, so if you were a Pilgrim, you would look and smell a lot dirtier than you do today. How many Pilgrim children were at the first Thanksgiving? Probably 22. Even though many adults had died during the first winter, most of the children had survived. So almost half the Pilgrims at the first Thanksgiving were children aged 16 and younger. The children had worked very, very hard. Now it was time for them to have fun too. Goodbye.